So before discussing the power of imagination in Einstein's story in detail, let's say that Einstein used to love his violin. He played the violin a lot. He loved music, and he said once that if he wasn't a mathematician, he would probably been a musician. He even calls himself an artist sometime. And this links to our discussion here of imagination and the role it played in Einstein's work. So, the first aspect of this amazing imagination is the thought experiments that Einstein had. So, even when he was a teenager, probably 16 years old, he says that he used to imagine himself traveling with a ray of light. And this thought experiment, if you imagine yourself traveling with a ray of light, is one of the reasons that led to the development of the special theory of relativity. He had another thought experiment, which is imagining himself in a falling elevator, and this kind of led to the development of the equivalence effect in the general theory of relativity as well. He imagined light in new ways, and he thought about light as particles instead of waves, and this led to the discovery of the photoelectric effect. So all of these thought experiments are acts of imagination, right? Subjective acts of imagination in somebody's mind that led to the development of these amazing theories that changed our understanding of reality. This imagination allowed Einstein to reimagine the universe, right? His ideas were revolutionary in more than one dimension, right? He reimagined light and how light works, and his formulas kind of established time as relative, the speed of light as absolute, right? And so this was an interesting change in the conception of these variables, the curvature of space-time, and reimagining how gravity, mass, and space-time interact, fundamentally changing how we view the very fabric of reality and the fabric of nature. These were very deep and fundamental changes to our understanding of the world that Einstein brought forth. Einstein prioritized visualization over calculation, so he would frequently imagine and visualize things till the theory became clear, and he would leave the calculation to the end. And this is why his quote on the importance of imagination as opposed to knowledge fits, right? Because imagination can encircle the universe. Now, the interesting thing on the flip side of all this, where his imagination kind of failed him, I don't know, we say that with retrospect, but it was at the point where he met uncertainty, where physics met the fundamental uncertainty of reality. Because he famously said God does not play dice with the universe, and this is when quantum mechanics started showing how much uncertainty there is in reality, the probabilistic nature of the universe, and his conception of light as a particle seemed to have been too deterministic, right? And there are interesting discussions or clashes between him and Niels Bohr on this. He just couldn't let go of the deterministic image of the universe. There are a number of very entertaining stories if you're into that here. But and this is something I argue in Fuzzy on the dark side. We have to accept the fundamental, inherent, and inescapable uncertainty that is everywhere. And this is either because reality itself is made to be uncertain, at least this is how we can see it so far, or because our intelligence, our ability to understand reality will always be limited. Something interesting to mention here is his unified field theory. Einstein kept working on that, but it did not reach any satisfactory conclusion. And perhaps this is another example of the failure of determinism and the triumph of uncertainty, at least so far in our conception of the world.